Hello everyone and welcome back to Jasmine Reviews. And today we're going to be reviewing Jurassic Park 3. Right? Right. Not Jurassic World, not Jurassic, World Dominion, Jurassic Park 3. The original. Because we've been doing all of the Jurassic Park movies so far, so if you haven't seen them, the links should be at the end of this video or down below. They'll be somewhere, so you should go watch those as well. Anyways, and before I get into the the little tidbits and the nice little parts, I just want to say this was a very, very nice love story, and not between the mother and father of the little boy. I know what you're thinking, Jasmine, what are you talking about, and what is that super bright light over there? The window's open. I didn't feel like setting up my professional setup. This is what you have to deal with. Welcome. Anyways, so this movie was terrible. Obviously, it's not the greatest movie. Alan, it's all I can think about. It's all I can think about. Just Alan. Okay. The best worst moment in movie history, really. It got its point across. Alan. That may happen a lot more throughout this review, I'm just gonna say. Alan. But, so, starts out, for some reason, I get it, it's probably one of those weird, rich people things, hey, I'm gonna take my son out parasailing. But instead of it just being at any place in the world that we could actually go and have a really fun, enjoyable time, we're going to go to this one dinosaur island that you're not really supposed to go, knowing full well we shouldn't be there. But that's probably part of the fun, the danger, with my child here. So, if we were to get, arrested, my child would get to see me get manhandled and potentially go to jail for a very long time because I'm ignoring the rules and going to this place that's off limits. But still, what the hey, let's do it anyway. Then, you go through a mysterious fog bank on this really bright sunny day where there would obviously be no fog banks, but, for the sake of it being a movie and mysteries have to happen, there's a fog bank. And during said fog bank, it's oh no, what's happening? Something's pulling on our little rope, and then the fog clears, and the people that were on the boat are obviously gone. The boat's been trashed, deadness, all those things. And at first you're like, well, what kind of, obviously it was a dinosaur. Which dinosaur did that? And I've heard theories that it was probably the pteranodons or the pterosaurs, whichever one they are, I don't know. But that's not true because they don't even get out of their bird cage until later on in the movie whenever they forget to, or they don't make sure the door locks. Because when Tia Leone's character closes the door, it just sort of doesn't lock, it doesn't latch, and opens back up. So yeah, they didn't get out till then. So it's obviously the Spinosaurus, which is the new big baddie of this movie, because it can swim and it can come on land. But I still don't buy it. Because that boat is booking. It's a speedboat. It's booking it. How is that dinosaur that fast? I could see it getting a good lucky swipe, but in that lucky swipe, I feel like it would just destroy the boat and not so much be able to get onto the boat and eat the people off of it and damage it and then, let it go. Okay, there it goes. It's finishing its trip until it hits the rocks. No, I don't believe you. So, I feel like it would have to be something faster, something better, but whatever. We're gonna go with the Spinosaurus because that's what it's supposed to be. Well, then later on, you go over and you meet, Billy, because he's, doing, the dino bones, because we've already met Alan. We already know him, and he's all like, yo, this is a dangerous island. Not gonna get on this island whatsoever. Don't care. Nowhere, don't care. So, and I don't know why I'm doing this. It's just whatever. But, and we already know Alan. So Alan has already been introduced us. He's like, what's up? We know each other. We're good friends. We go way back. Not ever going to go onto this island ever again. Also, I have not ever been on this island. Please don't ask me questions about dinosaurs. I am a paleontologist, and I don't feel like talking about living dinosaurs. So, then we go and meet Billy. Billy is chef's kiss. Obviously, he's going to make some mistakes. But, it shows you this little scene where this girl is she's so obviously flirting with him, and it makes you want to believe that he's kind of doing the same to her, like flirting with her. But the second that he sees Alan, he is just bam. Billy is in love with Alan. You cannot tell me otherwise. This movie is about the unrequited love between Billy and Alan. Alan and Billy. Like, Alan may not reciprocate. We don't know this. Well, obviously, Alan loves Ellie. But Billy loves Alan. Like, the second that Alan shows up, Billy is like, bing, bang, boom. Who's this girl? Don't know her. Hey, I got your stuff. Like, look at this cool thing. He's always trying to impress him. He's always like, hey, look. These people, they're talking to me. Like, we should talk to them. They've got a pretty good money deal. So, they talk to the Kirby's that make Furbies. They don't do that, but they talk to the Kirby's, and actually I could have just went Kirby's. Like, they eat a lot of stuff, whatever. And they're like, yo, we want you to be a tour guide of this island. We're just gonna be flying low, so you show us the dinos. We'll pay you loads, give you a blank check. Right, however many numbers on this it'll take you. And that should have been the red flag number 1. But whatever, we let that slide. He goes, he says, yeah, sure. Then you see like another touching moment on the plane where he's like, I wouldn't want to be here alone with this family without you. Billy and Alan. Okay. Then Alan falls asleep, and Alan happens. Obviously, because why not? Also, if you notice that Alan sees a version of the raptor that he previously didn't know existed, because the raptor that he saw was not the same one. He didn't see the one with the little details on it. He didn't see that one. He only saw the other one, and they're not the exact same. They have different details. He wouldn't know that one, so it is funny how he saw a different raptor. But still, he finds out very quickly, these people are sus. They're not listening to me. I'm trying to be very polite and show them these dinosaurs. They don't give a shit. They must have seen dinosaurs before. Which, honestly, if I saw dinosaurs, even if I'm in the process of freaking out of like, hey, we should do something. Do you see them? I'd be like, bro, dinosaurs. Haven't seen those before. So, they're over here ignoring him, and then they land on they land, and he gets knocked out. He wakes up, and they're being loud, obviously, because, you gotta hate somebody in the movie. And then, like, not only this, like, most people make you pay them up front. They don't just accept the whole bullshit of, like, yo, I'm super rich. You do this for me, and I'll pay you afterwards. Nah. Like, how did you get 3 people, mercenaries, fighters, pilots, whoever these people are, how did you get these 3 people to do this for you, plus these 2 these 2 dino scientists, paleontologists, whatever, to come and be with you, and you haven't paid a single cent? You must be like the most, like, that's how you make all those sales, isn't it? Like, you must be the most convincing person in the entire world to make people do this pro bono. Like, basically for free, because you haven't paid them yet. And even if they think, man, I'm going to get paid so well after this, nobody would believe that. I'd be like, give me half now and half when I get back. Half now and half later. Otherwise, there is no dice. Go find someone else that's going to go get eaten by dinosaurs on an island. So, plus, you're going to need fuel. You're going to need a private jet. You're going to need fuel for that jet. You're going to, like, I don't see how that happened. So, they land, obviously. Then, Dr. Grant's like, that's a bad idea. What's a bad idea? I love Tia Leona. Don't hate me. I love her so much. I'm just doing the movie. Anyways, and then, big roar, and everybody is shooketh, like, what was that? It was a dinosaur. You're on an island of dinosaurs. What do you think it is? Like, shut up. I know that that's not like a dinosaur sound that we, the viewers, have ever heard, or potentially Dr. Grant, but it's a dinosaur. It is a dinosaur. It's a baby dinosaur. It's probably not a baby, but it's a dinosaur. So, they all run back on the thing, and he's like, get on, we gotta take off. And everybody's like, let's just leave that white guy who seems to be like the toughest of all of us. He's obviously gonna be the first one to die, and he was. He's like, yo, stop. Don't leave me. I'm just gonna stand right here, knowing full well you are not gonna stop and get eaten by this dinosaur in 5 seconds. But you just better believe, instead of running to save my own life, I'm going to stand here. But yeah, no, he stands there, gets eaten. They pull up the plane and hit the fin of the dino, and it's like, oh no, it has completely destroyed our entire plane. You hit the fin. It's like they might have hit the whole back. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was just like the little top part of the dino, but still. And you think that, man, that must have hurt the dinosaur. That had to have hurt he got hit by a plane. But no, the dinosaur's fine. It was the plane the plane took the damage from that, because, dinosaurs are made out of whatever the juggernaut's made out of. And, they crash, and obviously after they crash, the black guy dies second, because, if he's not first, he's got to be second. He can't just survive the whole movie. Even though he seems like one of the most likable characters and the one with the most, whatever. We all love Mr. Noodle. I do love Mr. Noodle. I'm proud to say that I noticed him right away. As soon as I started watching this movie, I knew that Mr. Noodle was in it. I mean, he isn't really Mr. Noodle. He's Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle. But if you know what I mean, like, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. If you know who I'm talking about, then you know. If you know, you know. Mr. Noodle is in this movie, and he survives the plane crash, and as do the parents. Although I do wish that, one of them had, gotten eaten instead. But, that's not what happens. So then, for some reason, the monster comes back and is like, I'm going to start doing the same I'm going to, start stomping the plane and being rude and mean after I've already eaten 2 people, which should have satisfied me, even if I'm just being rampagey to be rampagey, because I'm mad that you hit me, like, whatever. But then they tried too hard to replicate the scene in the first movie where the T-Rex stands on the car, and the things get pressed down, because then the seats start getting pressed down and the glass breaks out, and somehow every single person can fit in the middle of the little walkway in between the seats. Sorry, I blurred out a little bit, like, physically. So, whatever. It's probably going to happen because of the light behind me. I don't really care. My voice is all that matters, right? That's all anybody cares about. Just use me as a podcast. Put me in the background, because I'm not doing anything interesting or fun. So then, they all climb out. I would have stayed in. I know I probably would have gotten eaten at some point, but I would have stayed in the plane. Like, let everybody else go do something else. I would have stayed inside that thing. But, they all climb out and run away while it's trying to do its thing. And then it still chases them. It's like, oh, hey, I see you guys getting away there. Get stopped by some trees. Then immediately they turn around and see a dead dino. And, oh, whoop, it's a T-Rex. And he's like, Dr. Grant's literally like, so nobody move a muscle. Everybody runs, which I don't think Billy would have, because Billy knows that Dr. Grant knows his shit. And yet they make him run too, obviously, because movie. And then Dr. Grant then runs because everybody else ran. And I'd have been like, nah, that's not me. I'm going to let y'all run and get eaten. I'm just going to stand here and not move. Probably would have died, whatever. But still, they run. And then, you get your big monster fight between the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex. And sadly, the Spinosaurus wins because it breaks the T-Rex's neck. So after which, they punch, old Kirby, and they're like, pow, 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 pow. How dare you lie to us like this, even though we knew that something was sus and we decided to come out here anyway. But, so be it. And then, you know, like, you know, the truth is told, like he's a paint and tile guy, you know, he's not actually gonna have the money to pay anyone, and blah 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 blah, and he's missing his son and nobody would help him. Although really, if you would have just said, hey look, my son is missing and I just want to look for him, like, there's a hot chance they probably would have still said no. But like, if you would have just told, like, you could have lied about the part about landing but just been like, look, I'm looking for my son, I just want to make sure he's not there. I feel like that's a much better story than two people who are just vacationing. We're just trying to see the sights. Privilege. Gonna go see some dinos. Anyways, after that scene, you know, and like they, you know, continue to try and, like, you know, expose them for the frauds that they are. You know, they're like, okay, well, let's just, you know, make for the coast. Let's make for the coast, and you know, we'll see if we can find, you know, your little boy on the way. He should have been dead. I think, you know, whatever. But they find, you know, her new husband, obviously dead. You know, we can't have him in the works ruining things. How he died? No idea. No idea, because as you know, the pteranodons and the pterosaurs have not been released yet. Did he just stay up there and die? Probably. He probably, like, got tangled up or something. Something happened, because they picked the bones clean. Was it the copies? I mean, if it's the copies, like, or like the little baby, like, little dinosaurs that ate the other dude in, you know, the second movie, then perhaps I could have seen that being maybe a thing, you know. But how did they get up that high? Like, can they climb? I didn't realize they could get up that high and, like, manage things so well as far as their eating habits. Don't know about that. Anyways, they also, you know, take his parachute because movie reasons. Like, let's just bog ourselves down with more stuff. So, you know, because you never know when on this island we might need to jump for safety, you know, with a parachute. Only one parachute, you know. But, you know, then, like, the woman runs away, you know, the mom, Tia Leona, runs away, and Mr. Kirby follows her, and he's all like, yo, we'll find our son, don't worry. And then he's like, oh no, you may want to take a look at this. And it's dino eggs, obviously. And then Billy comes over, and Billy obviously is like, bro, dim's some expensive looking eggs. Dim some dino eggs. So he takes the eggs, obviously. And oh, by the way, if you haven't seen this movie, there's tons of spoilers in this review. And if you haven't seen the movie by now, then I'm sorry, there's gonna be spoilers no matter where you go, obviously. It's been out for a while. But he takes the eggs, or two of them anyway. They're so small, I don't really understand why they're that small, but whatever, they're dino eggs, he takes them. Then, you know, for some reason, you know, they go to this place which, you know, it's overgrown, obviously. Like, we haven't ever been to this facility before, but it's sort of overgrown. They get snacks from a vending machine. Mr. Kirby tries to break a non-broken vending machine, which makes me wonder why you didn't just take snacks out of the other one. Are the snacks even still good? Like, how long has this place been overgrown? Snacks do not last forever. Like, they do not last forever. Would they not be moldy? Would they not have, like, bugs in them? Would the wildlife not have already kind of gotten to it? Like, and I'm not talking about just animals, but, like, I mean, there are smaller animals. There's birds, there's bugs, there's probably little, like, you know, mice and stuff. Who knows? Like, you can't just keep, you know, modern day animals off of the island. So, whatever. Plus, you know, just general time, I feel like if it's completely overgrown as much as it is, that those snacks would not be good anymore. But whatever, you know, let's just say for that, you know, for the sakes, it's good still. So then they're just walking through the facility, and then, you know, oh look, a raptor preserved in this stuff, but it's only the head of a raptor, and then it's not actually at all, and the raptor's alive and chases them, and then they get chased into the woods. I'm skipping a lot because it's just a big chase scene, but, like, they get chased into the woods after they run into, like, a pack of, you know, plant-eating dinos, and it scares them all, so they all start running, obviously. and everybody runs into the woods. Billy drops his bag of eggs. Grant picks up the bag of eggs, and holds on to it because he doesn't know that there's eggs in there. He's just like, oh no, my lovers, pack. And Billy sees this, but doesn't see where Dr. Grant goes. So, great. Kombucha. Anyways, so they all get separated, and Mr. Noodle gets attacked by the raptors. And poor Mr. Noodle, he's just screaming, he needs help. And everybody sees him laying there, and they're like, oh no, he's dead, but he's not dead, and they try to save him, and it's just a trap set up by the raptors. And Dr. Grant is close by. He sees the raptors just like talking to each other, and he's trying to figure out what they're saying, and then they disappear and they try to attack him, and then some mystery person throws all these smoke grenades and then comes and saves him, and it turns out it's the little kid. But the thing is he was watching the same raptors who just tried to do the attack earlier, and no one saw that or heard that or saw the smoke bombs going off. Gonna say no. So, sorry, I was being nosy. So, that happened. And then the raptors run off, and the thing is, it wasn't very smart of them, nor was it very raptor-like. It was very human-like, but they pick Mr. Noodle up and break Mr. Noodle's neck. And the thing is one, you'd probably just eat him. I know that they weren't hungry, they were just trying to get these people to come down. They were using him as a trap, but if they were doing that, for them to walk away, if they had left the area for good this time, or stayed gone longer and left him alive, it would have at least made them have another chance to try and save him, which would have had another chance for them to set another trap. But it also would have slowed down the rest of them, because they would have had to, carry poor injured Mr. Noodle. So it would have made them an easier target to get your eggs back. So it was stupid for them to try and be smart enough to set a trap by damaging Mr. Noodle, but then to kill him off like that. Plus to break his neck. Yes, they're I get it that they're smart, but I don't think they're that smart. They were smart, yes, but not that smart. They were also not, just whatever. It just pisses me off. Some parts of this movie I'm just like. Anyways, there's a lot of, oh no, you were the best. I hate that we brought each other into this, blah, 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 whatever. Lovers, becoming lovers again. And Billy misses, Dr. Grant, because that's his lover. It's who he's in love with. It's not his lover, but it's who he's in love with. Then you've got Dr. Grant sitting here with this kid, and then the next time you see him, he's eating this gigantic, I don't know if it was actually a whole can of beans, or if there was just some of beans in there, or they cooked beans in there, but it looks like he was eating just this big giant can of beans. He's trying to get the last of it, while the kid eats a crunch bar or a crinkle bar, one of the two. Nobody even knows what a crinkle bar is anymore. That's aging me a little bit. But he's talking about how he has T-Rex pee, which, why do you have that? What benefit does that do for you? I know he says, oh, it scares away some of the little ones, but it brings a real big one with a fin. Yes, oh my gosh, we've been introduced to that Spinosaurus already. This whole line of dialogue could have been left out. We already seen that one. It doesn't matter. But why do you have T-Rex pee? And how does he know so much? This kid, it's almost like he was here when Engine was here and when they left. Because he's oh, this thing was here when they tore out. I've been staying next to the compound, da 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 da. And it's how do you know so much? You shouldn't know anything. You should be dead. This kid should be dead. And it's not anything against the actor. We all had a crush on him at one point when we were kids. That's just how that was. And yes, you did. If you say you didn't, yes, you did. It's the same as we had a crush on I can't remember his name. Uh, Josh Hutcherson. Is it Hutcherson? I don't know. But at one point, that he was the thing. Then you got Jonathan Taylor Thomas, which we still probably love. We got Devon Sawa when he was Casper. And then we had that crush on Jeremy Sumpters, which may or may not still be a very active crush, because he will always be the love of our lives that we never met. So yes, she did. Anyways, it's just a fact that this kid who doesn't know anything, he obviously has a very posh life. He's not used to having to live on the streets or anything. It's fine that he's, smart and he knows about dinosaurs or whatever, but it's also not logical to think that he would know, oh look, I could stay here and the compound is over there, and I've been able to not only fashion a camouflage suit and learn how to use all these different things and learn what I can and cannot do the way he has. Like, I've lived here my whole life in just the short amount of time that he's been there. But, I also seem to know a lot, but no, there's no way. He should be dead. But let's just say he does know those things. So, whatever. They eventually move on. He's talking to Dr. Grant the next day, and he hears the phone, but his parents don't hear the phone for some reason. But they hear him, and so they both start running towards screaming, knowing that shouting is the thing that they should not be doing. Yes, I know that they wouldn't find each other otherwise, but shouting is very stupid. I'm surprised that Billy and or Dr. Grant didn't say something at one point in time and be like... But no, they find each other. And then, while they're hugging and, Billy gets to grab hands through the bars, and he's like, hey, you found my pack, knowing that there's eggs in there. But, he's really just happy that he got to see his, Dr. Grant. But then, Ninja Skills 100, Spinosaurus is like, what's up? Because they hear the phone ringing again. So you hear the phone ringing again, but not the footsteps of this giant billion-pound dinosaur. And not only does it have the ninja skills to sneak up on you, it doesn't immediately attack you from wherever it was standing. It waits until you acknowledge it. I don't see how it's like, hey, I'm not gonna attack you, immediately. Just wait to make eye contact with me first. So there's that. But then it does attack, and they find a lucky hole in the fence, and they get through, and then they hug again, like nothing bad's gonna happen. But then, boom, Spinosaurus breaks through the fence and chases them again. But they run into a house or a facility doors and close them, because that's much stronger than the fence outside. But it works, it works. So whatever. And then Billy tries to get his bag back and says it's not safe. And Alan finds out that Billy stole the eggs, and he hurts Billy's feelings by being like, you're no better than the people that built this place. And Billy's like, I love you. But they go downstairs and find out they're in a giant bird cage, and one of the pteranodons chases after little kid because reasons and stuff and things, and he picks it up and drops him over there. Picks it up, yes, the child picks him up, drops him over there, because obviously that's what it does to all of the humans that it eats. I'm sure that these grown dinosaurs are just as hungry as the babies. And yes, I know, while it's like, oh look, she's trying to feed her babies, she would probably eat her babies just because she was also starving. I don't know if that's what they did, but I'm just saying. She's probably hungry too. But, whatever. And he picks up a skull because obviously she's done this to more than one person. So he throws it over. And it could be the dad. I don't know. Whatever. But, all dinosaurs are supposed to be females. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. It's probably one of those ones that did change its sex so that they could procreate. That could be the thing. Anyways, then, Billy and Alan make eye contact, and Billy's like, you know what I have to do? Like, he doesn't say this, but he says it with his eyes. He's like, you know what I have to do? And Alan's like, no, you can't. I love you. Nah. Alan, I don't think ever actually, like, reciprocates the feeling. Poor Billy. But Billy's like, you know, he makes it a couple of times, and Alan tries to stop him, but he jumps out anyway because he wants to prove himself not to be a bad guy. So he tries to save the kid, and instead of just, like, both of them dropping into the water immediately and escaping the bird's attack, he just continues to fly in the air until he hits the side of a cliff, and then continues to hang there until it's no longer safe for him to hang there. And then finally, like, releases himself into the water. But by then, you know, he's getting attacked by birds, and he tells Alan to save himself, like, run, go away, don't, you know, just leave me here. I'm not worthy. And so they do. And, you know, they swim away, and obviously she forgets to press, like, you know, make sure the door latches, because it doesn't, and that's how they get out at the end. And if anybody was ever confused about that, that's how they got out at the end. That's why it showed the door opening. That was the whole point. I'm so nosy. Anyways, so after this, they find a boat, which for some reason was down there, because when they were upstairs and they were getting ready to go downstairs, Alan just is like, or Dr. Grant, he's like, there's a boat down by the river. Did we see that? Like, I must have not been paying attention, because I didn't see him see that boat, but there's a boat down by the river. Blah, blah, blah. And if it was as foggy as, you know, it was as them getting down, while they were getting down there, he wouldn't have seen it anyway. But apparently there's a boat down there, which he was correct about. And instead of fixing it right away to where, you know, they had the engine, they just didn't do that. Or they turned it off at some point and just decided to coast down, because later on, after they pass, you know, the good leaf-eating dinosaurs, and I don't care what anyone says, it seems like after the first movie, from that point on, every time they show the nice dinosaurs, it's after, you know, they have seen, like, these horrible, like, meat-eating dinosaurs. They've been chased, they've been attacked. In no way, shape, or form would anyone, I feel like, especially, like, the Kirbys, they wouldn't know, hey, these are leaf-eating dinosaurs. They haven't done their research. They're just people. Like, maybe Dr. Grant knew, and maybe the kid knew. Who knows exactly what his interests are. I mean, he seems to know a bit about dinosaurs. But, like, the fact that they're sitting there like, look at them. These dinosaurs are so cool. There would be no way. I'd be like, look, I just spent the last 2 days or the last little bit of my life struggling to get away from dinosaurs, and here's these gigantic ones, like, looking down at me. Like, yes, I feel like they would have some kind of, like, different experience about that. But then later on, it's raining, and they hear the phone ring again, and they pass by giant piles of poo, because you gotta have a poo joke in there somewhere. You can't be too serious. But, it's there. So they dig the phone out, and they're like, man, it only has room for one call. It makes two. It makes two. Well, it makes one and then receives one, so I guess they weren't wrong. But, so they do this, and I'm sorry if you hear the music from the other room. It's just something that's gonna happen. But, so he tries to call Ellie, but, you know, the kid gets distracted, which is cool. One of the greatest parts of the movie is seeing that side of things. Not the scene altogether, just the other side of things, because it looks realistic and it's alright. Well, then they get, you know, but the kid he's all like, hey, look at this, you know, and it's like raining, pitch black, and he's sitting there like, it looks like something scared them, like something scared the fish. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't have seen the fish in the water. It's black, raining, on the water. There's no way in hell you would have seen the fish being scared unless they were coming up to the surface, which they were not. Like, it just showed us the fish being scared. And then you see the Spinosaurus, which is showing, hey, it can swim or breathe in water, something. It's in the water, you know, so that's how you know it attacked the boat earlier. But still, it attacks the boat, obviously, and they all get in this cage, and the phone starts ringing, and catches it, and they get pulled in the water, and he's like, in the river, save me. And yes, I know it's a satellite phone, so they might be able to GPS locate it or something. But there's no way that Ellie, at home with her house phone, would have been able to do that she would not have been able to know, hey, he's on Isla Sorna, not Isla Nublar. Hey, I know exactly, he should be on this coast. Like, did they go around the entire island just in case he showed up on one of the coasts? Because it's funny that they found the exact location where he was going to end up at the end. So yeah. Also, one of them should have died. One of the parents should have died. I feel like it could have been either the husband or the wife, and then the other one realizes afterwards how much they really loved the other person, or they finally get that realization, oh, I love you and I'm so happy that we've been through this together and we have our son back, and then one of them dies. I want to have emotions. I want to be like, oh man, I'm really sorry that these things happen to these people, and I'm heartbroken that they didn't get their happily ever after. But no, they always get their happily ever after. Obviously, they're the main characters. They can't die, which is stupid. Or the child should have gotten eaten. Or, like, lose an arm or a leg. Something should have happened. But no. An eye. Come on. Have something happen. You had no consequences from this except for maybe not being able to eat real delicious food. And maybe some trauma. But everybody else died, So, and then, Grant shoots a little flare, and somehow it lights the water on fire. I'm guessing there was oil or gas or something in the water, and it scared the Spinosaurus away. But, everybody thought that, Mr. Kirby had died, but I really wish he would have, because it would have made more, like, of an emotional scene, but no. No, he didn't. So then they, keep going and make it almost to the coast, and then, whoop, raptors. He had almost forgotten about them, and then for some reason, just because she's a female, I guess, the mom raptor thinks that Tia Leone stole the dinosaur eggs for reasons unknown, except for the fact that she's a female, because Grant has had them for most of the movie, and Billy had them for more than that. So, shut up. So, anyways, then, for some reason, during the here's your eggs portion of the movie, Grant, sees in Billy's bag, because for some reason he didn't even think to open the bag until just, later on in the movie. I would have opened it as soon as me and Billy were separated, like whenever I was sitting in that thing, I'd have been like, because I'm nosy. And I would have been like, maybe he has a candy bar in here, maybe he has something in here. But no, he didn't even do it then. Alan respects people's privacy. But yes, he opens it and he sees, oh look, there's one of those vocal things for the raptors. Conveniently. And he starts blowing on it, even though it doesn't actually sound like a raptor. Whatever. And he's like, call for help. Mr. Kirby says that. And somehow Alan's like, I know how to call for help, even though in the movie earlier it sounds like, don't make fun of me. That's what it sounds like. He says, basically, that's the noise he does. And like the things are like, oh no, we gotta help him. And then the mom's like, fuck you, don't. So then she gets her egg because they hear the helicopters above, and then she's like, literally moving her mouth like that, like they actually have talk, like they actually have like talking-ness speech. So they run away. Both, the two raptors left over grab an egg each and run away, leaving the other ones to run to the beach. And then there's a dude standing here. Are you Dr. Grant? And everybody's like, no, don't, you're too loud. And all of a sudden, then there's like an army behind this guy. But how did that guy get on the beach to do that? And why would he have done that? Why would they wait for like a big reveal until after they all ran up? Also, but like I said, did they know that they were coming to that exact location? Does Alan have a tracker in his body? Because they dropped the phone. The phone got dropped in the water. So, whatever. Anyways. And yes, I know I'm not doing a review the way I do my other reviews because this movie is old. So an older movie, I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to talk and you can listen. Or you can tune me out, whichever you prefer. As long as you let the video play, I'll be cool. Anyways, so they get on the helicopter and he's like, hey, is this guy with you? And then, reunited and it feels so good. Billy's there. So Billy's like, hey, you made it. You can see he's so in love. Billy is in love with Dr. Grant. You cannot tell me otherwise. Like, he has done nothing but try to prove himself to Dr. Grant the whole time. He completely ignored the girl earlier after Grant showed up. Like, most people would have, like, you know, give him a wink, a little something. Like, they would have been like, you know, let's talk later. Anything. But he didn't. He just said, you don't exist to me. Dr. Grant's here. My one true. My one and only. And then he says, I saved your hat. Like, come on. I'm getting attacked by birds and, you know, accosted and losing my life. But I saved your hat. Like, it was a very nice moment. And then, you know, Dr. Grant's like, you know, it was your life that, you know, that counts, or your life that matters, and all that stuff. And, you know, it was a moment. It was a moment between the two of them. But I think Billy realized that by the way he said it, that their love would not ever truly, you know, be. Because you could tell the way he looked away. It was kind of like a longing, but like a slight heartbreak. You know, there was no kiss. So yeah. Jurassic Park 3, the love story that just didn't end with a happily ever after. I think that is basically how I see the movie. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Why? That's kind of high, but it's also kind of low. But it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not the best movie I've ever seen. There's a lot that could be changed about it, but it is a dinosaur movie, so I'm giving it half and half. And, you know, for the love story, you know, it deserves a little something something. So yeah, I appreciate it. I might start rating the movies that I've seen, because I haven't been doing that. So but yeah, so that's how I feel about it. I hope you guys have enjoyed my review of Jurassic Park 3. Like I said, I've done both Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 2. Eventually I'm going to do Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and Jurassic Park Dominion, because I did see that recently. I was just waiting for people to see it so I don't give them actual spoilers. And I'm also going to do Top Gun Maverick, because I saw that recently. Fantastic. But if you are curious about any of my other movie reviews, they should be in one square of this corner. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and comment and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little notification bell. It'll always update you for whenever I upload new videos. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.